It is recited to drive away the enemy, to dispel the spell of magic or sorcery, and to seek fulfillment or desires, material as well as spiritual. It is a tested and approved supplication. It is better to recite it after midnight, nevertheless, it should be recited whenever occasion demands, or may be recited as many times as you like. O Allah, send blessings on Muhammad and on the progeny of Muhammad. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So then Musa became nervous, a little anxious. We, Allah, said, worry not. You will positively have the upper hand. Staff. It will swallow up. It will swallow up the spell-binding artifice. Ropes looking like snakes, manipulated by a sorcerer who shall not be successful. Whatever tricks he plays, then the sorcerer puts their foreheads on the ground and announced, we believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun. Thus they were defeated and brought low. Thus the truth was established, and that which they were doing was made vain. Then we inspired Musa, saying, strike the sea with your staff. Then it put apart the sea into two high mountains of water. I had taken refuge with Allah my Lord, and Lord of one and all magicians, the deceit of the treacherous, the trickery of the swindlers, and from the harm of all the poisonous animals, vicious reptiles, vile disposition, and from the evil of all wickedness, from the violent fury of the oppressors, from the violent fry of the oppressors, and the high-handedness of all enemies, and the intrigue of the secret plotters. I repulsed their offense assault in the name of Allah. I took refuge with Allah from the evil. I asked Allah's help against them. I cut off the neck of their false pretensions for the divine wisdom. I walled in inside the divine fortress to defend against their soldiers. I pushed them back by the predominant thrust of Allah, the distinct sovereign. I hit and killed them by a deadly arrow and with sharp sword of Allah. I caught hold of them with the superior might of Allah, dispersed them with the permission of Allah, threw them into chaos by the divine decisiveness, pulled them to pieces with the strength of Allah, scattered them to the wind, divided and forsaken with the power of Allah. There is no power and no might except Allah's, the greatest. I defeated the dishonest trickster with the powerful army of Allah. I overcame the hostile enemy with the authority of Allah, the great. I destroyed him who hatched plots with the infallible strategy of the Almighty Allah. I broke the conspirator into pieces with subtle policy of Allah, the ever alert. I pushed back the transgressor in the name of the glory of Allah, the impregnable. There is no power, no might, no dignity, no support, no victory, no help, no honor except with Allah, the high, the mighty. Allah's blessings be on our Master and Prophet Muhammad and on his pure descendants. I've conquered the troops of enemies and the power of Allah. I put terror in their hearts by the support of Allah. I created fear in the pit of their stomachs in the name of Allah's honor. They have been thrown into chaos by me with the authority of Allah. They have been torn to pieces by me with the strength of Allah. They have been destroyed and ruined by me with the omnipotence of Allah. I have taken away the power of hearing and seeing, and destroyed the strength of their limbs and their confidence with the superior, unyielding, preserving, and resolute power of Allah. They have been driven away by me with the help of divine strategy of Allah, the high, the great, the all-powerful. They have been conquered, worn down, disgraced, together with their soldiers, helpers, and well-wishers, by me with the unfaltering aid, true and evident help of Allah. They are now overwhelmed, overawed, frightened, frustrated, humiliated, overpowered, broken down, bound in chains, out of breath, tamed, subdued. O Allah, keep them away from us by thy wisdom and might, power, and authority. Disunited, mutilated, out of breath, tamed, subdued, distressed, frightened, humbled, wondering, overpowered, bewildered, disappointed, obscured, gone astray while taking flight, confused in their attentions, perplexed in their hideout, tied up to their destruction, engrossed in their physical pleasures, with wounded bodies, deteriorated minds, their expectations cut off, their arms and ammunition unusable, disillusioned in their intentions, exposed to disgrace in their escape, thrown on the ground upon their faces, confused in their thoughts, their hearts sealed off, their hearts sealed off, their moratorium put aside, their perception dimmed, tied up to sluggishness, addicted to senseless pleasures, and restricted to their limited understanding, their help exposed to calamities, and their soldiers pushed back. O Allah, keep safe from their plan of action. give help to ward off the mischief. O Allah, apprehend them at once, be hard on them, and bring loss upon them as punishment. Denied by everyone, denied by everybody, thrown to the ground, choked in breathing, spellbound in enjoyment, thrown with the face on red ground, suffocated, strangled in their own ropes and strings, bound in fetters, kept tied up, shackled and chained, knocked down by disastrous calamities, one after another, screaming in the agony of trial, cut off from boots, abandoned to calamities, and lost deprived of their booty and loot, their supremacy vanquished. O he who is always close in misfortune, come to help the needy when he makes a request. Allah has preordained victory for me and for my messengers. Verily Allah is strong and mighty. Beware, certainly only the surely my protector is Allah, who sent down the book and stands by virtuous. Verily I Allah am sufficient for you against the sham defiers. So I help the faithful against the enemies, and truth came to light. There is no God save Allah, the one and only, who fulfilled his promise and helped his servant and backed up his group, and himself destroyed the hordes of the infidels. So his is the kingdom, and all praise is for him only. All praise is only for Allah, the Lord of the world. From the very beginning, I have taken refuge in the safest sanctuary of Allah, under his shelter, never left unguarded, under the protection of Allah, never rendered inaccessible, in the unconquerable and unfailing might of Allah, with his servants who are never humbled, with his fighting force never subdued, in his unassailable quarters. In the name of Allah I began, and in the name of Allah I conclude, because powerful attacked and won with the enemies. Of Allah's might I overthrow my enemies. By the glory and the greatness of Allah I defeat them. Subdue them with the wisdom and strength of Allah. I grow strong, remain on guard, and step forth against them in the name of Allah, and commit my affairs to Allah. Allah is sufficient for us. He is the best protector. And you see them looking towards you. They do not see, deaf, dumb, and blind, and they will not return. Command of Allah has come. Word of Allah has prevailed. The evident proof of Allah has been made known to the shameless enemies of Allah, the lackeys of Satan. They cannot prevail against you, but may injure you a little. And if they fight, they will run away, having no help thereafter. Inflicted with disgrace and misery, very sour when caught hold of, and always destroyed in battles. They will not fight in the open battlefield unless barricaded from all sides, and what is out of sight is tightly enclosed. They fight fiercely among themselves. You think they are united, but their minds are confused, because they are people without the power to reason. I kept myself safe from them inside, fully fortified. Enclosure. Neither they can come in at daytime nor break in at night. I receive strong support. I have entered the impregnable sanctuary, and I cling and hold to the steady rope. I protect myself with the reliable strength of Allah, with the shield of Amir al-Mu'mineen, peace be on him, and take refuge with his security, and put the seal ring of Sulaiman, son of Dawood, peace be on him, and on my finger. Wherever I go, I find peace and security. But when my enemies are in disarray, despised and ridiculed by one and all, wrapped in disgrace and inferiority, bound in chains, I've set up protective defense all around me. I am inside majestic palaces, coronated with dignified crown, the mighty ever sharp sword in my hand, beyond the visual range of my evil eyes. Beyond the visual range of evil eyes. Away from the dubious surmises, my soul is at peace, free from the danger of enemies who have been tamed, and afraid of me are running away, as wild asses take to flight, scared of a lion. They are helpless to carry intrigues which they have planned against me. Their ears have been turned deaf to hearing slanders about me. Their eyes have been deprived of sight. Their tongues are unable to speak ill of me. Their minds are unfit to identify me. Their hearts take fright and sink low before me. Trembling, they break off, afraid of me, abandoning their arm, their pomp and show ending in their fiasco. Their determination is crumbling. Their followers are deserting. Their affairs are in a mess. Discord in their openings. Their helpers are weakened. Their army is vanquished. As foretold, those who return back would be routed altogether. Certainly this is the promised hour, the hour of disaster. I break it to pieces, their haughtiness, by the sublimeness of Allah. In the manner of Ali, peace be on him, the matchless warrior who turned upside down antagonism and pointed out suppositions and surmises. I found favorable circumstances in the name of the wonderful names and sublime verses of Allah. I beat my enemies black and blue beyond repair. With powerful blows, their equipment is now in my control. They are humbled, their ring. Leaders are exterminated, their guards and defenses lay in ruins, their heads submissively hang in shame. He who came after me has been waylaid. and he who fought me has been liquidated. So I'm victorious, happy, successful, triumphant. Verily, I faithfully adhere to pious expression and hold fast the safest handle Islam. The strong rope is in my grip. No more will the revolt of traitors, deceit or impostor, or ill will of the greedy harm me till eternity. Never shall anyone deceive me, never shall anyone hurt me, never shall anyone take me for granted. Say, I call upon my Lord, and I do not associate anyone with him. Overstow our bounties, give me my peace of mind and protection against my enemies, and appoint between me and them exacting and active angels. Help me with a large army and obedient assistants who could turn them away with penetrating superiors, means drive away with sharp swords, shoot at them with burning fireballs, burn them with consuming heat, reduce them to ashes with blazing flames, under under attack from all sides in perpetual torment, except him who is torn off by a wild beast, death. I attacked, challenged, came upon, and overpowered them with the help of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Taha Yasin, Dariyat, Tuasin, Tanzil, Hawameen, Revelation and Wisdom. Qaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad, Ha, Meen, Ain, Sin, Qaf, Qaf of the Holy Quran, Noon, the pen, and what is written, stages of the stars, Tur, the written book, spreading pages, the house in heaven above the Kaaba, the raised skies, the swelling sea. Verily the wrath of your Lord will fall on, and which no one can put off. So they went backwards, showing that he was isolated, sat in their homes, sleepy and gloomy. Truth won, and what they were doing had been rendered useless, overpowered, overthrown, humble spell of magic broken. There was total submission, so Allah protected him, Musa, from their evil tricks and put an end to their intentions and to their comical ridicule, and brought down severe punishment upon the people of the Pharaoh. And the deceitful artifice was frustrated by the divine wisdom. Allah is the ablest planner. Some men tried to scare a group of faithful men by telling them that some united crown was planning to hurt them, but their faith grew more strong. And they said, Allah is sufficient for us. He is the best protector. From Allah, favors and bounties came in for them, and the evil touched them not, because they obediently aspired for Allah's blessing. Allah is possessor of abundant favors. O Allah, I seek thy protection against their evil designs, and thou will nip in the bud their opposition. I ask the good, which is thee, O Allah. Verily soon you will find that Allah is sufficient for you. He is the best hearer, knower. Jibreel is on my right hand, Mikael is on my left hand. Muhammad, blessings of Allah be on him, and his descendants is in front. Amir al-Mu'mineen, peace be on him, is on my back. Allah the High stays continually over me. O He who puts a barrier between the two seas, draw a curtain between me and my enemies, so that no harm may reach me. Between me and my enemies, Allah is the shield. Verily, Allah's shield is the safest. Allah is sufficient to protect me. There is no one who can protect me except Him. When you recite the Holy Quran, we, Allah, draw an invisible curtain between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter, and make their minds senile and their ears deaf. When you recite in Quran that Allah is the one, they turn sour in aversion. Verily, we have put on our necks chains reaching into the chins, so that they are made stiff-necked, and we have set a bar before them and a bar behind them, and thus have covered them, so that they see not. O Allah, draw thy protective curtains around me, that cannot be dishevelled by blowing winds, nor can be pierced by spirit. Through thy Holy Spirits, save my soul, for whoso comes under its cover is reverently looked up to, and it creates awe and fear in the hearts of all created beings. Allow me to recite thy beautiful names and remember thy high similitudes. Give me peace and goodness in that which I aspire for this worldly life and for the hereafter. Turn away from the eyes of the intense starer, and substitute the hatred concealed in their hearts with goodwill, which no one can do except thee. O Allah, thou art my sanctuary, therefore I take refuge with thee. Thou art my support, therefore I seek thy protection. O He before whom the arrogant necks bow down, and the heads of pharaohs bent low in submission, make me steady and not be put to shame, not to leave thy protective shield, not to forget thy remembrance, not to be ungrateful to thee. I remain under thy protection in darkness or in daytime, as home or in journey. Thy remembrance is my habit, thy glorification is my routine. O Allah, day in and day out my fear seeks thy peaceful sanctuary. So keep away thy displeasure and the hatred of thy servants from me. Surround me with thy protective shield, and take me in under the canvas of thy favors. Deliver my soul through thy generosity. Set me free from the necessity of going to wicked men for help. I seek thy support to avoid corrupt companions, ominous moments, hostile enemies, threatening calamity. I take refuge with thee from the ups and the downs of day-to-day life, except those events which follow the safe and true track. On account of thy mercy, O most merciful, send blessings on Muhammad and his pure descendants. Allah is sufficient for me. He is the best protector, the best master, the best supporter. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. By brightness of the day and the night when it is quietest, your Lord is not forsaken you, nor is he angry with you. Verily, that which is to come will be better for you than that which is to pass. Soon your Lord will give unto you, so that you will be content. Did he not find you an orphan and take care? Did he not find you wandering and show the right direction? Did he not find you a destitute and make independent? So oppress not an orphan. Turn not away the needy, but call out the favors and bounties of your Lord. O Allah, some blessings on Muhammad and the progeny of Allah. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyun azim.
Well done.
Allah Hafiz.
Yes.